It should have been called Wicked Good because that's what it really was.
Amazing start to this.
I think that was a quote in Boston.
Yeah, that was from the Boston Herald.
Oh, Wicked. Wow.
It should have been called Wicked Good.
I think, at least on this panel, we were all pretty big fans of Wicked.
Yeah, I really liked it. I have things that I did not like about it, but that's because I'm such a massive fan of Wizard of Oz. I love the book Wicked, and I liked the musical, but I wished as a fan of the book that the musical was darker like the book, so I kind of wish that the movie, but that's, that's in the weeds, if you will. But on the surface of things and as an experience in the cinema, I really enjoyed it.
I honestly, at the end of the movie, I was just crying.
I
And I didn't know
bawling.
why. I don't even know.
It's a powerful song.
That's such a powerful song and a powerful performance.
Cynthia, okay.
I have to say, Cynthia Erivo.
We need to talk about Cynthia Erivo.
She deserves all her flowers.
Yeah, she really does. It's a glorious performance.
I learned about Cynthia Erivo because I saw her in The Color Purple when it was on Broadway. And at that point, I recognized, where has this talent been?
Yeah.
And the world is not ready.
Yeah. Agreed.
And it's taken a while for her to get that kind of acclaim.
It has.
So it has been such a joy to see how people have reacted well.
Yeah. She was great in it. And Ariana was great in it too.
Listen.
I think Cynthia is bursts into the role and off the screen.
Yes.
But Ariana's fantastic as Linda.
I was not expecting the comedy.
She brought her comedy chops to this role and made it even more funnier than it was.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Her take on Linda, also so natural to her.
Yes.
In a way I was not expecting.
Well, she's loved it. It is also beautiful to see someone who loved the show so deeply to become that character, to get the opportunity. So I know you have some issues with Jonathan Bailey and his age, but I want to say, number one,
I really don't.
you did. You made a big thing.
I made it because I needed to make a statement, but it was not about Jonathan Bailey because that man can do no wrong.
To be fair, he looked quite a bit older than
He did.
But he did.
Who cares? He's a prince.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, from the Vinkus, from Winky Country.
Yeah.
He's been kicked out of a lot of schools. I think he's just been in school for a long time.
I love that you meant in his role in the film, and I was like,
No, Jonathan Bailey is from Winky Country.
He was so charming.
Oh my God, that man could do anything.
Truly. Casting actors of a certain age aside,
Yes.
in this universe it worked too, because one, his charisma is that strong, and his ability just to perform and dance is stunning. I feel like we have to talk about the lighting.
We really do.
And
Speaking of Jonathan Bailey, I felt like that number, Dancing Through Life, the choreography is so interesting, and the amazing camera work. If you look at the behind the scenes, it's so great, but it's so backlit. I'm like, I know you're trying to make it look like daytime, but and the movie already has a kind of desaturation to it that is a bit perplexing. So then when you add this backlighting, I'm like, why? I was confused by some of those visual choices.
Well, and that's the thing is, I think you can have backlit, but the problem is it's so saturated. It's flashed out. It's overexposed. It looks like it's overexposed.
It does. And I heard John and Chu talking about how he wanted it to feel like a real place, which is interesting because it's not a real place. It's a fever dream in the mind of a young child in Kansas who has been thrown by a twister. So already it's not a real place. But beyond that,
it sounds like a great line a publicist came up for him to say, though.
And I thought he did a really great job. I think some of it was a little bit over choreographed and a little bit overdone. But also, I was in the theater going, whatever, let it wash over me. I'm not going to be particular.
I think it actually would have felt like more of a real place if the colors were brighter, less saturated.
Yeah, I think it sort of made me feel like he was trying to combine the feeling in the movie, the movie from the 30s, of Kansas with that sepia tone and Munchkin Land when she walks out the door, and they kind of got mashed together. And I was like, in a way it feels, I think it was trying to feel nostalgic, but I don't know. It was a bit of a miss for me. Some scenes more than others. I thought some scenes looked really great and others not so much.
I can understand a stylistic choice but not at the expense of it taking your audience out of the film. And unfortunately, in some sections, no matter how well they did with every other aspect, it was just enough that it took me right out of the film.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll say is, as a fan of the musical, I feel like there were a couple of moments in it where the musical direction and the lengthening of songs, I was like, a little bit too much. Like, I felt like I loved that Adina and Kristen showed up.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, they're here. We can move on now.
Yes, yeah.
Like, there was a little bit, I think, of really sitting in the fan service of it. And I get that. And I think it's great that they are trying to, it's a hard thing. I will say John M. Chu does an excellent job.
He does.
Of being the kind of director who makes movies that are artistic and bold, and also, I think, really satisfy a commercial audience and fans. And that's a very hard balance to strike.
His ability to tackle the musical genre, even from like, I'm talking his student films.
Yes.
He has just such a natural ability to give those worlds real feeling and just so much joy in that process.
Yeah.
But like we always say, it doesn't really matter what we think, it matters what you think.
What do you think?
Let us know in the comments, what's your take on the Wicked part?
Was it wicked good?
I think it was.